Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I'm your host, Willie Bragg, and I wanted to talk about Cornel West today. But before I do, let me go and say a quick hello to the people we have here so far, and an explanation to one viewer. Um, and how are you doing today, Rohan and Monson? Listen, I apologize. I have to go to work early this evening. So this is why I decided to stream early. I had every intention of starting this thing at 8 o'clock, but I got called into work. I told them, told them I'll be there when I can. So as soon as I'm done with this video, I am on my way to work. I'm going to get a quick bite to eat, then I'll be at work. You know, it's all according to they're going to have to wait for me. In other words, so anyhow, Daniel's Berry Sports Highlight. How are you doing today, yo? And Warren, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. So other than going to work tonight. So let's go ahead and talk about Cornel West for a moment, because that's what the subject is about. Something that came to my attention yesterday. And Cornel West, as you know, he's running for president basically as an independent leftist. Initially, we all know that he was going to seek the nomination for movement for the People's Party, or simply the People's Party. That was his intention. And then I believe it was Chris Hedges that basically encouraged him to work inside the Green Party to seek the Green Party nomination, which actually makes sense. And that's not a slight against the People's Party. In fact, that's kind of similar to what Howie Hawkins did in 2020. Howie Hawkins, and I'm no stranger to him, even though I never met him. Howie Hawkins he's also a member of the Socialist Party USA. He sought the Green Party nomination in 2020, got the Green Party nomination, and the Socialist Party USA did not run a candidate because their candidate was the Green Party candidate for president. Howie Hawkins. So that's the situation there. And I would imagine the People's Parties would have probably have done the same thing had Cornel West gotten the nomination of the Green Party, which I think is a mistake that he decided not to seek the Green Party nomination at the end of the day. He needed the Green Party, and the Green Party needed him. And I think that this could have been something the most workable and most successful since the potential of Ralph Nader. Ralph Nader parting ways with the Green Party kind of, in my view, made things a little more unstable for the Green Party. Although I have always argued that the Green Party is the strongest electoral movement outside the Democratic Party if you're on the left. If you're on the left in the United States and you're trying to make an impact electorally outside of the Democratic Party, if you're on the left, the biggest game in town is the Green Party. For better or for worse, it is the Green Party. I am not a dues-paying member of the Green Party myself. I am a registered Green Party member. And so this is where we're at. When Peter Dow took over the campaign, I believe he was the campaign manager, took over it. I noticed that he decided to run as an independent, referring to Cornel West. And, and I thought that was, with due respect to Cornel West, I thought that was a mighty, mighty, mighty stupid thing to do. Because you're going to have a harder time with less resources trying to gain ballot access. That's what it comes down to. The Green Party, for better or worse, has kind of an infrastructure, and that infrastructure could collapse. It could actually go forth and basically expand and into something potentially good. So, in other words, if you want to compare it to Canada, even though the Green Party, well, you got the Green Party in Canada, and I'm not going to particularly go out of my way to praise the Green Party of Canada. I'm not denouncing them either, but I would say that the Green Party in the United States, their counterpart in many ways, would be the new Democratic Party of Canada, the third party that makes sure that Canada maintains having nice things. They're the reason why all that is negative about the United States does not it's not a thing in Canada, the NDP. And they are a strong third party. And they basically hold the liberals' feet to the fire, and they keep the liberals um, slightly to the left of our Democrats here in the United States. So, in that regard, now that I want to make that clear that I'm not pro Justin Trudeau. In fact, when it comes to Canadian politics, I am emphatically very anti Justin Trudeau. But the point is that because if I was in Canada, I would be in the NDP, the New Democratic Party. I'm saying this in correlation to the United States because Canada and the United States, they share a common border, and yeah, they're more or less, it's more or less a similar culture, although they done healthcare correctly. We haven't. They have stronger unions. We don't. There's no capital punishment in Canada. We're still a barbaric nation here in that regard. Weed is legal in Canada, whereas good for the states where it is legal, it needs to be legal and where the law can't touch you in all 50 states if you go and smoke cannabis. So there is that. But the point I'm trying to make is that the Green Party in the United States is in many ways a counterpart of the NDP in Canada. In fact, when the NDP took over the government, provincial government in Alberta, um, I was telling a coworker of mine several years ago in my previous job, who is from Texas, about the NDP government getting elected in Alberta, and saying how big of an impact it was, because Alberta to Canada is what Texas is to the United States. It's one of the most conservative provinces in Canada, whereas Texas is one of the most conservative states in the U.S. And I was told this, and I'll say his name, James. I said, James, it would be like if the Green Party took over the gubernatorialship of Canada, of Texas, and took over the state legislature. That's the kind of impact the NDP had in Alberta. I don't think they have an NDP government currently in Alberta at the moment. So, but the point is, we need a third party. We need a strong third party, a labor-centered party to represent workers in this country. And the Green Party is the closest thing to it. And I think it was a mistake for Cornel West to basically walk away from that, in light of how neoliberal and corporatist and, dare I say, conservative and right wing that the Democratic Party has become. The Democratic Party, they look what they did to Bernie twice. This is why Dennis Kucinich has to run for Congress in the 7th congressional district as an independent these days, because what the Democratic Party did to him in 2012, what the Democratic Party did to Cynthia McKinney in 2002. And you either go in there as a visionary progressive for them to tell you the structures that be, the powers that be, for them to tell you, take your progressive ideas and put it in the graveyard. And that's exactly what happens when you work inside the Democratic Party. Is where good ideas come to die. And I don't think that Bernie was sheep herding, in the sense of, why would he sheep herd people into the Democratic Party just to become Democrats? So I just think that basically the obstacles were too great against him, which is why I'm halfway cursing at him these days. But I do feel sorry for him to some degree. In some ways, I wish. In some ways, I wish he never ran in 2016 nor in 2020, because I would probably be. I'll probably be less nutty at this point, because we were so close to building some kind of a revolution here in this country for it to be, put in the trash heap of history. The Bernie movement's dead. We don't know when's the next big thing. Could have been Cornel West. Could have been Cornel West, because Cornel West has name recognition. Not that we should worship celebrities, what have you. And that's another thing. I've heard this from various folks. I heard this from Pasta Jardula and Fiorella Isabel on the combo couch. And I hear this from my friend Warren from Extra Bull Alive, that we got to go and stop idolizing heroes. We got to stop. We got to stop with the idol worship of politicians, podcasters, this sort of thing. And I've been kind of guilty of this myself, and I am trying to do better in that regard. But the thing is that we got to fix this shit ourselves. But realistically, Cornel West is a public figure. He's a public figure ideologically on the left. He's a public figure in broader society. You can go on CNN and see Cornel West being interviewed by Anderson Cooper occasionally. And you can see Cornel West being interviewed by Sean Hannity occasionally on Fox News. And most people across the political spectrum knows who he is and what he stands for. And Cornel West politics pretty much coincide with mine. He's a democratic socialist. He's a democratic socialist in the American tradition of Eugene Victor Debs and Norman Thomas. He said that many years ago in an interview. He is a democratic socialist in the tradition around the world, in the tradition of the New Democratic Party of Canada, in the tradition of the Labour Party in England, when they were actually doing socialist things decades ago. Clement Attlee, Harold Wilson, and maybe Jeremy Corbyn. Let's not forget Jeremy Corbyn, who is now an independent. The visions of social democrats like Willy Brandt of Germany, West Germany, Nelson Mandela of South Africa, Salvador Allende of Chile, Michael Manley of Jamaica, Utat of Bangladesh, the former UN General Secretary General in the 1960s. The list goes on. When it comes to the idea of democratic socialism that's being espoused by Cornel West, and supposedly by Bernie Sanders. These are the ideals that he espoused. And it's great that you have a red-green alliance that could have been made inside the Green Party, because the Green Party's got great socialists inside there. So, but he decides that he's going to do this on his own. And I'm going to sound like a conspiracy nut, but I think if I say this, I think that most people aware of the situation would agree. It's no accident that Peter Dow, who basically was a Clintonista, and I've always said, once a Clintonista, always is a Clintonista. Somebody who was close to Bill and Hillary Clinton, that basically bashed Bernie Sanders supporters in 2016, and then in 2020, all of a sudden made a turnaround and in various ways, and then worked for the Marianne Williamson campaign last year in 2023 to resign from her campaign because her campaign went nowhere. Dean Phillips has a better chance of being the Democratic nominee than Marianne Williamson. How sad. And then he jumps on board on the Cornel West campaign, and then all of a sudden Cornel West decides to run as an independent. I personally think he was, hired by the Democratic establishment to basically derail this movement that Cornel West could potentially use and utilize to build a movement. Seems like every time we're on the cusp of building a movement, the movement basically somehow dies. It's most frustrating. It really is most frustrating. Um, I mean, you take the squad, for example, AOC and company. I mean, in 2018, whether we want to realize it or not, we thought she was a rock star. And we thought that, damn right, we thought that the squad was going to come in there and raise a ruckus. They never rose the ruckus. They never did raise that ruckus that they promised they were going to raise. And look where we're at. AOC is basically an attractive younger Nancy Pelosi. I mean, that's what she became. I mean, AOC is just a drama queen, an actress who performs. And for a while, it was intoxicating, and I was patient. But when AOC is doing things like, now I'm not going to go and scold her for voting for Joe Biden, although I think she should have voted third party. I understand if you're in the Democratic Party, you have to play ball to some extent. But to the extent that she played ball, she just basically, when you're doing things like you're refusing to utilize your power to put a House vote for Medicare for all, we're forced to vote and say, well, we're going to go and reserve that for something else more realistic, like a minimum wage increase. They never did force any kind of a vote. It's considered taboo to do a force to vote on anything. That's what the squad has done. AOC basically correctly voting against the Iron Dome to only be scolded by Nancy Pelosi to go back and change her vote to present. Let's see, what else did she do? She voted. She made a speech against the CARES Act, saying that this was the biggest corporate giveaway in American history, and she was correct. Then she went and voted for the damn bill. She voted against a Bernie Sanders bill sponsored in the U.S. Senate that was sponsored in the House that would resolve the potential rail strike that was going to take place. She busted a rail strike. And then the straw that broke the camel's back is voting for money to be sent indirectly to neo-Nazis in the Ukraine. And 2022, I was like, I'm done. I'm totally done with AOC. So, we don't have the squad to rely on or Bernie to rely on anymore. And this is where Cornel West came in. And this is why I said that when I vote in 2024, it very, very well might be the last election I will ever vote in, because it's not the election. The system is fraudulent. It is fraudulent. It's there to just keep two right-wing parties, one that's actually fascist, the Republicans, and the other that's basically 1985 Republican Party under Ronald Reagan. That is what we have as a choice. Now, sure, I want to go make a disclaimer about that 1985 Ronald Reagan Republican comparison. And that is basically that it's like if they'd gone back to the 1985 Republican Party, but made it a little more virtue signally or more progressive, socially progressive. Yeah, in other words, you're pro-choice on abortion, you're pro-gay marriage, you're pro-trans right, and I'm all for those things. But you also got to have economic justice to go along with these things. And so, anyhow, disappointed that Cornel West decided not to seek the Green Party nomination. He decided to go as an independent. It takes, and I think he realized it was a mistake. And this is why he came up with this press release. Give me a moment here. And I'm sorry, I've been beating around the bush trying to get to where I need to get to. So hold on a second here. Where are we right now? Yes. So he put out a press release. Basically, Dr. Cornel West announces the formation of the Justice for All Party as part of his 2024 presidential campaign and beyond. For immediate release, Wednesday, January 31st, 2024, Cornel West for president. In an effort to directly confront the suppression of voter choice and participation by legacy of political parties, independent candidate for president of the United States, Dr. Cornel West announced the establishment of a Justice for All party. The party will primarily utilize as grassroots people power vehicle to secure ballot access in specific states. Additionally, JFA, not the punk band, Justice for All Party will grow into a larger formation that galvanizes people's power initiatives to promote transformational change beyond the 2024 election cycle. Yeah, right. Dr. West noted the announcement of JFA is both a celebration of the power of the grassroots organizing as well as a proclamation of the derelict duopoly that the era of corporate political parties is coming to a precipitous and welcome end. And there's more to this, but basically what he's talking about is trying to go and form a political party. Why do this? I mean, if he's forming a new political party, I want that political party to do well. I really do. I want that political party to do well. I want all third parties on the left to do well. But what does it mean if you're just going to build a third party, just out of thin air? And that's what it's coming down to. It's like, well, I'm going to go and build a third party out of thin air. Yeah, you can probably get some people to join this organization and everything. Why not just go back to the People's Party? That has a better infrastructure. I can guarantee you they have a better infrastructure right now than the Justice for All Party. And that's not saying much. And I'm not beating up on people's parties for saying this. Look, I belonged to the Socialist Party for USA for many, many years. And you talk about a dysfunctional party. There was a lot of dysfunctionality there too. So I'm no stranger. And I'm sure libertarians see that kind of dysfunctionality even in that strong third party. I'm sure that the Green Party's got a lot of dysfunctionality. If you're an independent, you work outside the system, you're going to be dealing with a lot of dysfunctionality. I don't care who you are, across the ideological spectrum. But creating a political party out of thin air, I mean, I don't see it lasting. I just don't see it lasting. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope somehow that becomes, they're successful and they run a slate of candidates in 2024, and we see several members in the U.S. House of Representatives and several U.S. senators and several state governors representing the people, the Justice for All parties. But I've also had to worry because I don't know if any of y'all remember the New Party, but the New Party looks like it just kind of evolved into the Working Families Party. And I was with the New Party for a while in the 1990s. And what are they? In New York State, they're just basically junior Democrats. They're basically sexier Democrats. That's all they are. They if you're a leftist and you want to be outside the system, yet kind of inside the system, you go and work within the Working Families Party. That's how that works. But unfortunately, when you look at a ballot slate, they may have decent candidates, but if there's a corporate Democrat in a congressional district, they usually stick that Democrat in there, or they'll stick Chuck Schumer as their senatorial candidate, or Hillary Clinton as their senatorial candidate. How's that progressive? Or or Joe Biden for president, or Hillary Clinton for president, John Kerry for president, yada yada yada. I mean, so if you're doing that, it, how progressive are you? Now, the Working Families Party goes back to the days of the American Labor Party of New York State when they put FDR on the ballot. Totally understandable. I believe LaGuardia, Florio LaGuardia was ALP candidate as well. ALP collapsed under Cold War pressure in the 1950s, and the Liberal Party kind of succeeded in many ways. And the Liberal Party is a joke today. I don't even think they have ballot access anymore. But the point I'm trying to make is that this is where we're at right now, and we don't know where we're going to go from here. So I wish him well. I just don't have a lot of faith in this Justice for All party as much as I would like to see it flourish. Now, they down here in North Carolina, they want me to help get them on the ballot. I'd be glad to. I mean, I'm having this said, if Cornel West is the only person on the ballot on the left in North Carolina in 2024, I will vote for Cornel West, because Cornel West's politics is a hell of a lot closer to my views than Joe Biden ever could be, let alone Trump. So that's basically what I want to come down to. We need a third party to the left. It's just like everybody's sitting there kind of working around and working against each other in the process of doing this. But we need to actually have a functional party on the left outside the Democratic Party. And part of the problem is you have a lot of eccentrics, a lot of sectarian eccentrics, myself included, that goes around with egos saying, well, it's my way, and this is this little nuanced thing we want to go and tackle, and if you don't, well, fuck you. That's usually what happens on the left, the circular firing squads situation. And then you have people who are more pragmatic and be like, well, we can support this particular progressive candidate for Congress because this person, he's speaking our language. That doesn't work either. I used to think it worked. I used to be that guy. The guy that would say, Paul Wellstone, yes, but any other Democrat, no. As well-meaning as these Democrats are, they're inside the system, and they're the powers that be. That structure will not budge or change. You think that the Democratic Party establishment is just going to sit there and let a bunch of wild-eyed, in the words of Lionel Jefferson in the pilot for All in the Family, when talking to Michael Meathead, he says, how are you young, angry social Democrats doing on campus? You think they're going to have a bunch of, attitude-driven, angry, young social Democrats, democratic socialists, Marxists, anarcho-syndicalists, whatever you want to call all of us, or whatever it is? You think they're just going to sit there, this neoliberal party is going to sit there and let us all take over it? Not in your life. Not in your life. And this is why we need to do this shit on our own. We got to fix this shit ourselves. Enough with the hero worship. Enough with this set of podcasters is where it's at. And if you deviate and you listen to this one, and I've been guilty of this myself, well, screw off or what have you. Or we're going to go and support this candidate here. This candidate took XYZ position 20 years ago. Well, fuck that person. This is why the left can't get anywhere, and the right seemingly can get their shit together and get things done, and we're worse off for it. I want y'all to think about that. Now, I have to go to work very shortly, so I will say that come here tomorrow at 5 p.m. for Braglands. Jimi Sunderland and myself, we're going to have another episode of Braglands. And if you like what you heard, please press like and comment and share. um, any of my videos here on this channel. Um, as as the First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Reject corporate media. Always. Subscribe to the Willie Bragg Show. Subscribe to my other platforms, including Braglands, if you don't mind. And remember, everyone, free Assange, free Palestine, free healthcare, and free speech. I will see you all later on. Bye bye.